It's your job to make my life harder. Okay, here we go. Now, who wants to help me with this? I've got three numbers that are being multiplied. Interesting. Before we do it, what's the sign of the answer going to be? What's the sign of the answer going to be? Isabella?
Positive.
No. Obviously, then it's going to be what?
A negative.
Negative. Let me show you why. Let me show you how I tricked Isabella on this. Think of this. These first two numbers multiplied together, right? Okay. They're both negatives, aren't they? Oh, everybody's already seeing it now. That's easy. That's good, right? What do these two things multiplied together give us?
Positive.
They give us a positive, right? But remember, I still have this other negative over here. What's a positive times a negative?
Negative.
A negative. So our answer is going to be negative. What's the number value? I know it's negative, but negative what? Raise your hand if you can tell me. Negative what, Zachary? 16, yeah. 1 times 16 is 16. Times 1 is 16. Is everybody happy with that? Do you see that?
Yes.
Now here's a little rule. Would you like a rule?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to memorize it, but if you want to use the rule, you do. Count the number of negatives. How many do you see? Elizabeth? 3. 3 is an odd number. If there are an odd number of negatives, the answer will be negative. If there's an even number of negatives, the answer will be positive. Doesn't it? Look at the first two negatives that we multiplied. There were 2 of them. That's an even number, and that gives us a positive. Because remember, 2 negatives paired give us a positive. And an odd number, there's always a negative left over, isn't there? So that would make the answer negative. Does that make sense when I explain that? Okay. Quickly, Emma?
Is it the same with positives?
No, with positives, you don't count, it's always the negatives that we count. We don't count the positives. Don't worry about those. Just count negatives, okay? Does that help? Okay, good. Let's look at the next one.